Hello, viewers. We are here today to discuss the third series of the common errors. It is a continuation of the common errors which we discussed in earlier sessions. Because common errors is a very vast area where various things are to be discussed. In the last session, I discussed a few things which are related to simple present tense, present perfect tense, present perfect continuous tense, and simple past tense. In continuation to these tenses, the area where most of the students get confused with regard to the discussion of tenses is in today's session. I am going to discuss the common mistakes which are likely to be made with regard to the construction of simple past tense and past perfect tense, past continuous tense and simple past tense combination, and the other most important topic is conditional clauses. And here, as I have explained in the last sessions, while construction of sentences is a very vast area, while constructing sentences, we should take care of each and every aspect very carefully. And as I discussed the same things earlier, today I will take up a few patterns to make it easier for you. I have taken a few patterns where you tend to go wrong, where you tend to make mistakes. Look at one of the most important patterns I have mentioned in the slide here. It is subject plus was or were plus ing form of the verb. We take was for singular nouns and pronouns and were for plural nouns and pronouns. It's followed by ing form of the verb. With this combination, we also make use of simple past tense, that is subject plus V2 pattern, or if the same tense is to be used in passive voice, we take subject plus was or were plus V3 form. If the subject happens to be singular, we take was. If it happens to be plural, we take were. So with this combination of past continuous tense and simple past tense, we come across a number of occasions where we use this kind of pattern. One important point we have to remember here is the sentence may begin either with past continuous tense and other clause may be in simple past tense, or the sentence may be reversed. That is, it may be started with simple past tense and the following tense may be in past continuous tense. As I have just shown here, the structure, it is a very important thing because structure is very important in the construction of sentences. And when we discuss grammar, structure is very important. Look at these combinations. If the first class is in past continuous tense, the other class should be in simple past tense. If the first class is in simple past tense, the other class should be in past continuous tense. I intend to tell here is, what I mean to say here is, when one action happened, the other action was in progression or continuation. Or when one action was in progression, other activity happened. When we want to club these two kinds of activities, we make use of this pattern. So based on this pattern only, we have to construct the sentences. And the general mistakes, common mistakes that are made are either in the first part or the first class or in the second class. We should see what the clause, what the tense is used in each class. Based on one clause, the other clause has to be changed. We have to take care of both the clauses. Only then we have to rewrite it if there is any mistake in the usage of the sentences. If we look at some examples, it becomes more clear. Look at these. Notice the following examples. While I was reading newspaper, someone called me. So here there are two activities. Reading newspaper was in progression. It was in continuation. When reading newspapers was going on, someone called me. One is in, the first clause is in past continuous tense, whereas the other clause is in simple past tense. Was plus ing form, reading, and here in the second clause, someone is the subject, called is the V2 form. So the past continuous tense and simple past tense combination is used here. The underlined part indicates the pattern as I have just shown you in the previous slide. Look at another example. When I saw them, they were playing in the ground. When I saw them, the first one is in simple past tense. I is immediately followed by the second form of the verb, that is saw, and whereas the second clause, they, is immediately followed by verb plus ing form of the verb. Simple past tense is followed by past continuous tense. In the first example, in the first class there is past continuous tense, whereas in the second class that is simple past tense. Whereas in the second sentence, the first clause is in simple past tense, the second clause is in past continuous tense. As I have just told you, either part may start first, either clause may be used first, but we have to take care of both the clauses. If the first clause is in past continuous tense, the other clause should be in simple past tense. If the first clause is in simple past tense, the other clause should be in past continuous tense. Taking care of these things, we can easily rewrite them or correct them whenever there is any error in usage of them. Look at another example. While he was crossing the road, he met with an accident. Crossing the road, crossing of the road was in progression. It was going on. When the crossing of the road was going on, the accident happened. This is the combination here. One is in continuation. When one activity was in continuation or in progression, the other activity happened. That's why we have to make use of the past continuous tense to indicate the action that was going on, that was in progression, that was continuing. Look at another example. The meeting was going on when the collector visited the place. What was going on when the collector visited that place? The activity that was going on was the meeting. Meeting was going on. What was happening when the collector visited the place? What were you doing when you went there? What were they doing when you went there? We can ask like that, because when you reached that place, what activity was going on? To indicate or to show such kind of activities, we make use of past continuous tense in one class and simple past tense in other activity. So this pattern is to be fixed in the mind very carefully, because the mistake may occur anywhere, either in the first part or in the second part. Both these structures are very important in the classes. If there is any kind of deviation, either in the first class or in the second class, we have to rewrite it and correct it, because error may be committed by the students or the speakers of English anywhere, either in the first part or in the second part. These kinds of sentences, I have taken a very small sentence, of course, but in competitive examinations, it's only a pattern. Sentence may not be the same thing, but pattern will be the same. The same type of pattern, based on the same type of pattern, questions may be asked in various kinds of examinations. Keeping this in view, we should take care that these two patterns go together when we want to show the activity like this, as I have just explained. Notice the following errors and how they are to be corrected. In continuation of my explanation to the pattern I have shown here, I have given you some examples, some wrong sentences on how they are being corrected. Wrong sentence is given and right sentence is also given. Since it is an online mode of teaching, there is no scope for interacting with you. That is why I have shown both the sentences on this slide. You can refer to them and see how the sentences are being corrected and how the sentences are likely to be wrongly written in most of the cases, most of the occasions. Look at the examples here. While I am reading a novel, a doubt arises in my mind. While I am reading a novel, a doubt arises in my mind. The first clause is in present continuous tense, whereas the second clause is in simple present tense. As I have just explained, the first clause should be while I was reading a novel, then a doubt arose in my mind. Doubt arose in my mind when the activity of reading a novel was going on. The activity of reading a novel was in progression. When this activity was in progression, a doubt happened. A doubt has arisen in my mind. That is why we have to change these both the clauses. Sometimes both these clauses are supposed to be likely to be changed here. Look at another one. When I go there, they were searching for someone. They were searching for someone. The second clause is in past continuous tense. Whereas the first clause is in when I go there is in simple present tense. The simple present tense and past continuous tense, they cannot go together. That is why it has to be changed and rewritten as when I went there, they were searching for someone. Then it becomes the right sentence. Look at another important structure here. When two activities are said to have happened one after the other, the earlier activity is said in past perfect tense, and the activity that happened later is said in simple past tense. We also come across this kind of situation on a number of occasions. Two activities. When we take two activities, out of these two activities, when they happen one after the other, I am telling that they happen one after the other. When they happen one after the other, the activity that happened first is to be written in past perfect tense. Past perfect tense implies the structure. Subject is followed by had. If it is in passive voice, had been plus V3 form. And this is to be shown in for the first activity. The activity that happened later is to be written in simple past tense. It can be either in active voice or in passive voice. If it is in active voice, subject should be followed by V2 form, whereas if it is in passive voice, subject is followed by was or were based on the subject. If it is singular, was is to be used. If it is plural, were is to be used. And we know that only V3 form is used in passive construction. So one important point we have to remember here is sentences may also be in passive construction. We should remember. That is why I have shown both the active constructions and passive constructions. Based on the usage, based on the meaning of the sentence, we have to use them. Even in the first class also. So the past perfect tense and simple past tense, they are jointly taken on a number of occasions. Remember, I repeat it again. When two activities happened one after the other, the activity that happened first is to be written in past perfect tense, whereas the activity that happened later is written in simple past tense. Here, we also make use of certain clues like before, already, like this. When we come across these activities like this, we have to make use of these words also, clues. Observe the following sentences, you will understand it. When I reached here, when I reached there, the train had already left. There are two activities here. My reaching there and leaving of the train. When I reached there, the train had already left in the sense, the train left before my reaching there. So leaving of the train took place first and my reaching to the station happened later. As I have just explained, the activity that happened should be written in past perfect tense. That is why I have written the train had already left. The same sentence can also be rewritten or is spoken like this: the train had already left before I reached there. Either way, the sentence can be constructed, either in the first form or in the second form. Both are said to be right. But only the attention that we have to pay here is that the first activity that happened is to be shown in past perfect tense. The activity that happened later is to be shown in simple past tense. If we remember that point, either one can come first. It doesn't matter much. Notice the following errors and how they are to be corrected. In continuation of my explanation to the previous pattern that I have shown in the previous slide, I have given you some examples here. The passengers had boarded the train before the signal had been given. The passengers had boarded the train before the signal had been given. Boarding of the passengers took place first and signal took place later. And that is why the passengers had boarded the train is shown in past perfect tense, whereas the signal had been given is also shown in past perfect tense passive construction. Both are shown in past perfect tense. That is why the sentence is said to be wrong here, as I have just explained. The boarding of the passengers took place first, so it is to be written in past perfect tense. That is absolutely right here, whereas the giving of the signal took place later, so it should be changed to simple past tense passive voice, because the given sentence is in passive construction. That is why the clause should also be changed to passive construction only. The passengers had boarded the train before the signal was given. Then it becomes an absolutely correct sentence. Look at another example. The bus started before all passengers got adjusted in their seats. There are two activities here. Starting of the bus is one activity, and adjusting of the passengers, getting adjustment of the passengers in their own seats is another activity. The bus started before all the passengers got adjusted in their seats. The very sentence shows what happened first and what happened later. Based on the meaning of the sentence only, we can use it. So the bus had started before all passengers got adjusted in their seats. One important point we have to remember here is the error may be given in either clause, either in the first clause or in the second clause. But we have to take care that both the clauses are correctly used here based on the meaning of the sentence. So another most important topic I want to cover in this session is conditional clauses. There are many conditional clauses, of course. There are many exceptions to the usage of conditional clauses, of course. Time constraints don't permit us to discuss all those things in detail here, because our own video presentation is to be made in according to the scheduled time. So I have taken the frequently commonly made, commonly used conditional clauses where most of the speakers and users of English make mistakes, commit errors. Look at here. I have taken 3 conditional clauses here. The first conditional clause is a probable condition. A probable condition implies that it is likely to happen. And even here also, a pattern, a structure, a structural pattern is to be followed. In the first conditional clause, that is probable condition. That is, if the if clause, conditional clause can also be called as if clause. If the conditional clause is in simple present tense, then the main clause should be in simple future tense, or they can also make use of another modal helping verb, modal auxiliary can. Another important thing is both these clauses can be either in active construction or in passive construction. Look at the examples. If you try hard, you will win. If you try hard is one clause, he will win is another clause. If you try hard is conditional clause or if clause, either way we can call it. You will win is main clause. If you try hard, you place first form of the verb try, so it is in simple present tense. You will win, you is followed by will plus V1 form, so that is in simple future tense. Both are in active construction. There is no confusion at all. The first clause is in simple present tense, whereas the conditional clause is in simple present tense, main clause is in simple future tense. So this is to be borne in mind. Based on one clause, the other clause should be used. If there is any deviation, it is said to be a wrong sentence. We have to correct it. If I am given an opportunity, I will prove. As I have just explained, the structure may be either in active construction or in passive construction. If I am given an opportunity, the conditional clause, if clause is in simple present tense, but it is in passive form. Simple present tense, passive form. I will prove is in simple future tense. We have to take care of this thing. There is no confusion. Don't get confused. The first clause should be in simple present tense, whereas the second clause if clause should be in simple present tense. When if clause is in simple present tense, the main clause should be in simple future tense or with a modal helping verb can. We can form it. And passive construction, we should take care of it. Active and passive constructions. If we take care of these very simple things, the construction of this conditional clause becomes a very easy one. Look at another. If opportunities are provided, they will succeed. Here in the subject, the opportunities is the subject. Opportunities is not the doer of the activity. So it is said to be in passive form. Opportunities are provided. It is simple present tense, passive construction. They will succeed. It is in simple future tense. It's very clear here. The first clause, if clause, is in simple present tense, passive construction, whereas the main clause is in simple future. So there is no confusion at all, according to the pattern as I have just shown you. So the second and very commonly used conditional clause is unfulfilled condition. The first one is probable condition, which is likely to happen. The second one is unfulfilled condition. Even here also, two activities are taken. The first activity did not take place. So the second activity also did not take place as a result. Since the first activity did not take place, since the first activity was not fulfilled, the second activity was also not fulfilled. Condition. There is a condition here. Since the first one did not happen, the second one did not happen. So here, the pattern, unfulfilled condition, takes this pattern as I have shown on the slide. Subject is followed by had plus V3 form. It is in past perfect tense. As I have explained in the earlier pattern, it can also be shown in passive wise. Passive form is also possible here. When passive form is taken, had been plus V3 form. When active form is taken, had plus V3 form. When conditional clause is in past perfect tense, whether it is active form or passive form, then the main clause should be like this, as I have shown on the slide, would have plus V3 form. Here, if it is passive wise, would have been plus V3 form. If he had played well, he would have won easily. And here, important point we have to remember here is, if he had played well, he would have won easily. His playing did not take place. His playing well did not take place. So his winning also did not take place easily. Since the first activity was not possible, the second activity also was not possible. So if he had played well, he would have won easily, in the sense, since he did not play well, he did not win easily. That is what we intended to convey in this pattern. Unfulfilled. First one is not fulfilled. Playing well is not fulfilled. So winning is also not fulfilled. If it had rained, we would have postponed the program. If it had rained, we would have postponed the program. Raining did not take place. So postponement of the program did not take place. Raining did not happen. So the postponement of the program also did not happen. Had raining taken place, the postponement of the program should also have been taken. So based on the first activity, the second activity is to be written. Had I interfered, I would have found a solution. The same pattern can also be written like this. It seems to be a question, but it is not a question. It is started with the helping verb had. It does not mean that it is a question, but the same pattern can also be shown like this. Had interfered means if I had interfered, without mentioning if also. This conditional pattern, conditional clause can be written like this. If I had interfered, instead of writing if I had interfered, we can also write had I interfered, I would have found a solution. Interference did not take place, so finding a solution to the problem also did not take place. Since the first activity was unfulfilled, the second activity also remained unfulfilled. This is how we have to understand the structure of these sentences. Pattern is very important. So another, a very commonly mistaken common error where most of the students make here is improbable condition. Improbable condition. First one is probable condition. Second one is unfulfilled condition. Whereas third one is improbable condition. The very title indicates improbable. Improbable implies which is not likely to happen. And look at the pattern of the improbable conditional clauses where most of the students make mistakes. Subject plus verb plus noun or pronoun or subject plus V2 form. It's followed by, this is in if clause. It is followed by subject plus would or could plus V1 form. And another important point we have to remember is in English language, this is the only structure where were is used for I. I, a pronoun I, personal pronoun I. Personal pronoun I never takes were in any other sentence, any other structure, any other pattern. This is the only pattern where I takes were in this improbable condition. Look at the examples. If I were the captain, I would send the right candidate. Here, the point we have to remember here is the first one is not likely to happen. It is improbable. It's an impossible thing. Since the first activity is an impossible one, improbable one, the second activity, the taking place of the second activity never happens. When it's not likely to happen, we make use of these structures. If I were the captain in the sense, I would never be a captain. When I would never be a captain, we can make use of this structure. But in communication, we have got freedom to speak about probable things, improbable things, any kind of thing. Because language is free for us. We can make use of, we can communicate, we can speak a number of aspects, number of things in day-to-day communication. So that is why various structures are shown here for various situations. Though it is not likely to happen, we speak about it. We have got freedom to speak about various kinds of things. We can imagine, we can speak about them. If I were the captain, I would send the right candidate. When the probability of becoming a captain is not likely to take place, but we make use of it. We make use of this kind of pattern. If I became the captain, I would change the team. When there is no there is no chance of becoming a captain. When I becoming a captain does not take place, there is no chance at all, then we can make use of this. But we talk about it. If I became the captain, I would change the team. If I were a bird, I would fly freely. I can never become a bird. It's improbable, of course. It's not likely to happen. I would fly freely. But another important principle we have to remember here is, when we make use of this kind of pattern, if I were you, I can never become you, or you can never become I. But when we make use of this kind of construction, it implies that it's a kind of suggestion given to the others. If I happen to be in your place, I would do this. Means it is better for you to go for this. It is better for you to do this. It implies a kind of suggestion, a tone of suggestion is understood in this kind of thing. Though it is improbable, a tone of suggestion is here. This is what we have to understand in this improbable condition. Notice the following errors and how they are to be corrected. If you will take precautions, you will be safe. As I have just explained, 3 conditional clauses. Based on these 3 conditional clauses, I have given a few sentences here. If you will take precautions, you will be safe. Both the clauses, both conditional clause and main clause, are in simple future tense. As I have just explained, they cannot be in the same tense. If the conditional clause is in simple future tense, the main clause should be in simple present tense. You will be, in the conditional clause is in simple present tense, the main clause should be in simple future tense. That is the rule. Probable condition, as I have just explained in the first clause. If you take precautions, you will be safe. Then it becomes a right sentence. If he will inquire, he will come to know the facts. Both are in simple future tense. It is not acceptable. If he inquires, he will come to know the facts. If he inquires, he will come to know the facts becomes the right sentence. Right sentence is not given here, of course, but that is the right sentence. If she seeks permission, the officer will accept. Both are in agreeable with each other. Concord is right here. If she seeks permission, permission is in simple present tense. The officer will accept is in simple future tense. It's a right sentence. So this is how sentences are likely to be asked in examinations. We have to see. Notice the following errors and how they are to be corrected here. To make it more clear, I have given some more examples. If you have read it carefully, you would have understood. If you have read it carefully, you would have understood. The second clause is in would have plus V3 form. So the first clause conditional clause should be in past perfect tense, but the given sentence is the given clause is in present perfect tense. So it is said to be wrong one. We have to rewrite it like this. If you had read it carefully, you would have understood. Then it becomes a right sentence. Had he contested in the elections, he will win. Had he contested in the elections, that is, as I have just explained, it is related to the unfulfilled condition. Had he contested in the elections is in past perfect tense. So the other clause, main clause, should be would have plus V3 form, whereas the given sentence is in simple future tense, so it is wrong. As I have corrected it, look at this corrected one. Had he contested in the elections, he would have won. Then it becomes a right sentence. If I interfered, I would have found solution. If I interfered, I would have found solution. If I had interfered, I would have found a solution. This sentence is also related to the same pattern we have mentioned in the earlier one, that is in the second one. And notice some more examples. Notice the following errors and how they are to be corrected here. If I am you, I would take decision immediately. It's a wrong sentence. As I have just told you, the only clause, the improbable clause where were is used for I, the personal pronoun I. Whereas I have used am here, so it is wrong. If I were you, I would take decision immediately. It implies that you better take decision immediately. As I explained, tone of suggestion is there in that improbable condition. If I were you, I will settle in Hyderabad. If I were you, I would settle in Hyderabad becomes the right sentence. I would or I should. Both are acceptable here. If I am you, I would have chosen a branded one. If I were you, I would choose a branded one becomes the right sentence. So this is how mistakes are shown in examinations. Based on these patterns, how they are given examinations. Notice the errors and how they are corrected. Some more examples to make it very clear. I have given some more examples. If you will join an institute, you would get knowledge. So the first one is in simple future tense, whereas in second clause, would plus get is given here. It is wrong one. If you join an institute, you will get knowledge. It's a probable condition. If you join an institute, you will get knowledge, or you can get knowledge. Both are acceptable. If you would have asked me, I would have told you. Both are would have structure is shown in both the clauses. So it is wrong. If you had asked me, I would have told you. Your asking did not take place. That is why my telling did not take place. Since you did not ask me, I did not tell you. This is what the sentence implies. Had you asked me, or if you had asked me, I would have told you. Since you did not ask me, I did not tell you. That is what the sentence means here. Look at some more examples in this slide. If Harish will be taught carefully, he will listen easily. Both are in simple future tense. If Harish is taught carefully, he will learn easily. The first clause is in simple present tense, but passive wise, passive construction. He will learn easily is absolutely right. If Harish is taught carefully, he will learn easily because it is probable. If he is taught carefully, he will definitely learn it very easily. It's a probable condition. If Rahul Gandhi had become the Prime Minister of India, he will change the entire banking system, as his mother did, Indira Gandhi did. If Rahul Gandhi had become the Prime Minister of India, this is in past perfect form, he would have changed. He would have changed the entire banking system, becomes the right structure of the main clause. If plus past tense is followed by another important point we have to remember here. If plus past tense, that is subject plus V2 form, is followed by another simple past tense, is used when we wish to express automatic reaction in the past. In continuation of the first activity, the reaction of the second activity takes place. If the second activity takes place as part of reaction to the first activity, remember the point. If the second activity takes place in response to the first activity immediately as a reaction, then both past tenses can be used. Remember this point. It's a reaction, automatic reaction. For example, when we just make sound, the birds will immediately fly. Flying of the birds takes place in response to the clapping, in response to making of the sound. This making of the sound leads to the flying of the birds, in response or in reaction to the sound, making of the sound. So that is how when two activities happen, one after the other, of course here, but contrary to the earlier structure here. The second activity takes place as an automatic reaction to the first one. Both clauses are to be shown in simple past tense. Look at some examples here. If anyone interrupted him, he got angry. Getting angry is a reaction to the interruption here. If anyone interrupted him, he got angry. I have underlined both these things. As soon as he entered the room, the birds flew away. Maybe perhaps listening to the sound of the opening of the doors, the birds flew away. As soon as he entered the room, the birds flew away. When I switched on the engine, the power went off. Power went off because of switching of the engine only. Otherwise, power would not have gone off. So, in response or in reaction to the first activity, the second one happened. That's how, when activities happen like this, both are to be written in simple past tense. That is subject plus V2 form. It can also be in passive construction, of course. Was, were plus V3 form. As soon as he answered the question, all students clapped. This clapping was a kind of response or reaction that happened when answering the question took place only. Otherwise, clapping would not have taken place. As soon as he answered the question, all students clapped. When she pelted stones, the dog ran away. The running of the dog took place because of the pelting of the stones only. Soon after it took place. Soon after she pelted the stones, the dog ran away. It's a kind of automatic reaction that happened here. So that is how, when two activities like this happen, when the second activity happens as an automatic reaction to the first activity, both simple past tenses can also be used here. So this is also based on what we have to see here is the meaning is important, because earlier it is also a conditional clause here. Earlier I have explained you that if the first activity is in simple present tense, the second activity should be in simple future tense. If the first activity is in past perfect tense, the second activity should be written as would have plus V3 form. If the first activity is in simple past tense, the second activity should be written with would or should plus V1 form. But contrary to those, based on the meaning is also very important. Right meaning should be conveyed through right pattern, right structure. That is also very important. Mere blind construction of sentences, blind construction of forms does not matter here. Meaning is also very important. So based on these a few rules and regulations related to tenses, so there is no need for most of the students to get tense, because I have given a number of examples. I have a number of sentences are given here in all these slides. If you look at these slides and practice more based on the exercises that are given in your textbook at the end of each and every lesson, you can easily improve you can easily overcome the mistakes through practicing well. Practice alone makes you perfect. You have to listen to these videos like this, and you also find a number of other videos which are available on YouTube. If you just click, you find hundreds and hundreds of videos. Nowadays, you're all technologies in your hands, and by making use of the technology in the right manner, you can enrich your language, improve your grammar, and improve your communication skills, oral communication, written communication, and become successful in any kind of examination, whether it is semester end examination or competitive examination. So keep all these points in view and try to become successful in your forthcoming examinations. So thank you. We will discuss some other aspects in the forthcoming sessions. Thank you.